Hello and welcome again to the First Rate Legacy podcast. We're so glad to have y'all coming back. It's been a fun journey, and we're excited to have it continue on. And with me today is a very special guest, the one and only Dr. Glen Wilkerson from the A.R.K group. Glen, why don't you say hey to everybody?
God dang howdy, Blake.
Howdy. It's even better than hey. So Glen, why don't you go ahead and start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and telling us a little bit about the A.R.K group, so you can introduce yourself to the thousands upon thousands of listeners that this podcast has already assembled.
All right. Well, I'm a West Texas boy, raised in Odessa, Texas, and been in Houston now for these many years. And I'm president and founder of the A.R.K group, Adults Relating to Kids. And our mission is to help adults to become intentional about sharing God's unconditional love revealed through Jesus Christ with children and with students. So we're working primarily with parents and caregivers in the home and the teachers in the schools. And the entire purpose of the program is to just help adults relate to young people, to children, and to teenagers in a manner whereby they feel valued as children of God, and they feel loved, they feel wanted. Our feeling is that the way in which a child views the world is simply a reflection of how they feel about themselves. We believe that the manner in which a young person views the world is a direct reflection of how that child feels about herself. A child who doesn't feel good about herself is going to see the world as scary, as intimidating, as confrontational, and will probably go through childhood and very likely adulthood being cynical and being confrontational with other people. On the other hand, a child who feels good about himself is a child that's going to greet the world as a place of wonderful opportunity. And is a child that is going to be a pleasure to be around, that will be kind, loving, accepting of others. And that will be true not only in childhood, but also through adulthood as well. So it's so important that early on that adults be very intentional about giving children God's unconditional love so that they value themselves as children of God. And then those feelings will be expressed in the way in which they experience the world around them. So in 1992, I founded the A.R.K group, and it's a nonprofit, and our entire purpose is to build programs at school, community centers, at home, just wherever adults interact with kids.
Yeah.
Programs that help adults be intentional about giving of unconditional love.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it really is amazing how much y'all have harnessed the power of recognizing how much better children and kids do when they feel loved. And, often people think that the opposite of love is anger. And I say this all the time, but really the opposite of love is an absence of love, which is apathy. And so really what can really eat at and harm the development of children is just no one caring about them, just that void. And so being able to find a way to help parents and train parents and those adults to provide a space of love and so that those kids can intentionally grow and perform better and mature is so valuable.
Absolutely. And I think I just happened in front of me had The Road Less Traveled by Dr. M. Scott Peck, which is just a classic.
Yeah.
And in it, he says exactly what you're saying in regard to the definition of love. The opposite of love is not hate or anger. The opposite of love is apathy or indifference.
Yep.
Or Scott Peck puts it, laziness.
Laziness. Yeah.
I mean, it means relating to another person in a manner whereby you accommodate each other's imperfections and forgive each other's imperfections Uh, True love, agape love, God-like, Christ-like love, this love that values a child, for that matter, any human being, for who they are rather than for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So performance has nothing to do with it. It's valuing a child and helping the child to feel valued as a child of God simply for who they are. And sometimes it's hard work. Kids can act in a way that
Kids can be kids. Kids can be kids.
kids can be very trying. Now, you don't have teenagers yet, do you?
Oh my, how old do you think I am, Glenn? No, absolutely not. I still don't even have any kids, period.
About 3 or 4, I think.
But definitely no teenagers. Oh my goodness.
You've been married in about what, 3 years?
It'll be 3 years in July. So it's only just been over 2 years now. So
well, when you're 78 years old, time is kind of a ephemeral thing.
yes, I recognize that. I recognize.
Yeah, but I knew better. My point is, when you get teenagers, you're going to learn the tremendous importance of unconditional love because they're going to try you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just part of growing up.
Oh, trust me. Even though I don't have teenagers yet, thank goodness. I used to, before my time here as chaplain at First Straight, I was a youth pastor, and trust me, I understood the trying nature of the teenagers and the limits of the stresses, stressing the limits of unconditional love. But it's yeah.
Part of the growing up thing that getting as a teen becomes more and more their own person. They're questioning the values of the parents and will depart from them for a while, typically, and then come back once that passage is through that passage. In the meantime, it's important that parents discipline the misbehavior, but still continue to show constant, abiding, unconditional love.
Yeah.
That's the key factor in raising a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
So,
you just for a second.
oh yeah.
Is it two or three now? Y'all have a child that's 2 or 3?
We don't have any.
I thought you did.
No. We've only been married for 2 or 3 years. No. We don't have any kids yet.
Obviously, I'm not. So anyway, when you get them, and it starts, early on, not just teens, but 2s, 3s, 4s. Kids are going to be asserting their personhood, and just all along the line, from birth through early adulthood. This business of unconditional love is absolutely key to great parenting.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what the ARK group is about. We have a program called PEP right now that we're pushing with school districts, and the purpose of it is it's online. We developed it in response to COVID, and up until COVID, we were having our parenting programs at the school on campus. COVID has forced us to develop a new program, parenting program called the Parent Engagement Program, PEP. Mm-hmm. And it's online, and it's state certified and already award winning. Yeah. And so helping school districts to encourage their schools to pick up the PEP program. They send out an enrollment key. Parents throughout the school are able to enroll and to take an 8-week course at their own speed.
It really is amazing to see how so many nonprofits have had to just totally transform themselves in the wake of COVID to still address the need that they've been addressing for so long, and yet in a whole entirely different way at the drop of a hat, because how they had been doing it couldn't be done the same way anymore. It's miraculous to a point at how so many organizations like the ARK Group and so many others have been able to find that way to innovate, to continue their service. even in spite of the limitations that the past year and a half have provided, or almost 2 years now have provided. So it's,
Blake, I think that God provides redemptive possibilities, even in the face of hardship and tragedy. That in the worst of times, there's always some redemptive possibilities that can be extracted from that situation that are for the good.
Yeah.
And one of the things that a redemptive possibility of COVID is it has forced us to develop some online programming, which we probably should have been doing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I think that's a wonderful point, is that a lot of that innovation is things that could have been done earlier, that should have been maybe done earlier. And now now that we've been forced to do it, is helping us, address the needs the way it should have been done for a while.
All along.
Amen. But so, it's such a great thing for First Rate to partner with the A.R.K group and support the A.R.K group, because there's many different organizations and individuals that First Rate sponsors and supports financially, because through our annual support programs, because give is a big part of our 4 core values. And so it's always fascinating to hear how so many of these different individuals and organizations got connected with First Rate to get a part of this giving program. So Glen, how was it that you and the A.R.K group in particular got connected with First Rate?
9/11, what year was that?
2001.
That's what I thought. We've been connected with First Rate for 20 years. Almost exactly. That's 20 years. My sister Jan we have an office in Dallas, our group does, and also an office in Houston. My sister Jan became acquainted with Dave Stone. And she said he's running a wonderful organization. Said they're a Christian organization. They even have a chaplain. And she said, you ought to tell Dave what you're doing, because while we have developed programs that can be used in the schools, by being careful about the God language, our basic thrust is helping parents embrace the unconditional love of God and then share it with their kids. And I think Dave would be very interested in hearing this faith-based program called A.R.K. So I'm driving up to Dallas for the express purpose of meeting Dave. En route, got the radio on, and I hear about these 2 planes that have flown into the Twin Towers. Drive straight to Dave's office, and so I sit down. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And he said, I guess you got the news. I said, yeah, Dave, I did. I just heard it about 45 minutes ago, driving in. And he and I sat there and cried together for about 30, 45 minutes. Just talking about things that are important to us, how terrible it must be for those folks, the families of those folks who died just like that. They've lost a loved one, and how important it is for us to show love on a constant basis, and to do so intentionally, because you never know when a loved one may be gone like that, or we may be hit by a Mack truck when we step outside in the street. And so anyway, I'll never forget the loving, compassionate tears of Dave Stone. It was a very touching, shared moment. And ever since then, you guys have been supporting this. And I got to tell you, Blake, through Jedi, who preceded you as the chaplain, and now you as the chaplain, you guys have been phenomenal in listening to what we're doing, embracing our programs, supporting us financially with a lot of money over the years. And you have blessed our ministry. I can't tell you how much appreciate it and how much I thank you.
Well, we love supporting y'all, and I think that's also one of the neat things about our giving program. and partnering with yourself and organizations like the ARC Group is, as you know, working for a 501c3 like the ARC Group, you have to write a lot of grants, and a lot of times you just kind of don't have that connection with some of the grants you get that get you get your money from, and yet here at First Rate we kind of like to maintain that connection and grow that connection, so we know and foster and understand what the support that we send out is and what it's doing and how we can assist beyond just the dollars and cents. And so it's always great to see firsthand what y'all are doing. I remember getting to go to Children's Hospital with you and see how one of the programs y'all ran for the chaplains program there during the training, and see firsthand the awards that y'all handed out and the difference that it made for chaplains there. And it's just it adds that extra layer of meaning to have that much more connection instead of it just being a blank check.
You guys not only have been benefactors, you become friends.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful when friends can collaborate together for a shared purpose. I know Dave has just been absolutely determined over the years for his business to be viewed as a blessing from God, the opportunities that God has provided him, and then him turning around and sharing those blessings with others, and doing it through the chaplaincy program and through your philanthropy program, as well as the way in which I know in terms of how y'all deal with people on a business level.
Yeah.
God's love shines through it. And it's just a blessing to be affiliated with you guys. You're unique.
Business as mission. That is the saying, and how First Rate likes to conduct itself in so many different ways, and I think the mission, that's kind of the way we do the business of giving, and the mission of giving is that it's not just giving, is that we kind of integrate all those other 4 core values we have, all of the where it's love, serve, and enjoy, along with the giving, so that we can really fully embrace the value and power of the giving through organizations like the ARC Group, and connect with you and see the difference that you make firsthand, and get to enjoy the fruits of y'all's labors in a much more profound way. And we really love the return on investment is that much better because of it.
Well, it's a shared mission.
Yeah.
Shared mission. Basically, it's the business of receiving the love of God, and then there's devising innovative ways of sharing it first off with those in our immediate circle of care, and then in the larger world. How can we make people feel that they're wanted, loved, appreciated at school, at home, in the workplace? I think that's really that's life's mission, and it can be done no matter what our profession. I had a plumber come to my house yesterday, and he's fixing the refrigerator, and he was changing an item on the floor, a filter. And he said, "Now, I'm going to order some of these for you. And in order for the ice maker to work, you need to immediately plug in this filter, because it's stopped. That's the reason the ice maker's not working, is because the filter's stopped up." So I've ordered some. They'll be here in a couple of days. He said, get down here. Let me show you how to do it. So I very gingerly got down on my knees. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah. Had a knee replacement a while back, and I'm about 130 years old." He kind of grabbed me by the elbow and kind of shocked me, as I was easing down. Then getting down is not hard. It's
the getting up.
And I'll be darned, I started getting up, and I can do it, of course, but he put his hand under my elbow and my forearm and said, let's go. And he gave me a good hard push up. And I was just thinking, it wasn't just the professionalism. I mean, he knew what he was doing. I mean, just like that, he knew what to do to fix my refrigerator. But even more importantly was the personal contact. And he made me feel like I was important. I wasn't just, a source of money for his company.
Yeah.
He cared about me. And so I don't care what your profession is, plumber, ditch digger, lawyer, doctor, people that have been touched by the love of God and who feel compelled to live their lives in a manner whereby that love is exuded through their work and their play and their actions. I mean, you can tell it. I told the guy, I said, it's just extraordinary. You've turned just an ordinary fix the refrigerator experience into something where there's a connection. And I see you care about me. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. I'm going to tell your boss.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. It's amazing when you have those interactions where you recognize the personhood of an individual instead of the transaction that's happening. And when you value the personhood over the transaction, that's when business becomes a mission and it elevates itself to mission.
I'm going to write an article on it. Now, who would expect the love of God to be exuded through the work of the plumber in the kitchen?
Yep.
Then obviously it makes no difference what the profession is. There's always opportunities for us to show love, care, and concern for other people. And tip the hat to this plumber for the way in which he touched my life. Not just fixing the refrigerator, but showing care.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to be shown care in this life, Yeah.
Sounds like you might be getting some calls after everybody hears this podcast to get that some references for that plumber. So you might need to find his number. But anyways, Glenn, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's always a treat, and it's been great getting to hear more about the art group and yourself and how you're connected with First Rate. And any last words you'd like to impart with us and our many listeners?
Always a joy to be with you, Blake, and tell Uncle Dave I said hello and that I love him.
We will share those words, and thank you for sharing your kind words, and thank you to all our listeners. We look